Hello, I'm Tess Mayer, and I'm the Director of Library Services for the City of Berkeley. And I'm really happy to be joining the City of Berkeley. It's it's an interesting time to be becoming a part of an organization, and I'm in the process of learning a lot about all of the efforts that library staff have already been engaged in terms of supporting their community. So this question of how libraries or how public libraries support change in communities, I think, is something that is really important to me and has really motivated me to be a part of the public library community. Libraries really have always been engaged in supporting communities in different ways, and they're also all about learning. And so I think that when we talk about change efforts, obviously, learning and community are really integral components of any kind of movement towards positive change. I think that another thing that's really important for people to be aware of is that the library has increased its support for access to electronic resources, which are also important community supports at times like this, particularly because we know that so many people are engaged in remote work and remote learning. And one really great example of this is the library's recently added access to BrainFuse, which is online tutoring software. And I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that the Berkeley Public Library Foundation has actually provided the financial support for this resource, for which we're really thankful. And this kind of resource is going to be really important for families and for caregivers who are trying to find resources to help support students while they're doing their remote learning. I also want to call out the way that libraries support community even online. And I think that this is something that I've seen referenced in a lot of different places, right? These think pieces about what are libraries going to do if they're not able to welcome people through their doors, or how is it going to be different? And I think that's a legitimate question, but I also think it's really important for us to look to online community and to look to alternative models for forging community. I think there's been widespread acknowledgement of the disproportionate impact of the pandemic on communities of color. And we're also hearing a lot of discourse about the impact of systemic racism on communities and access to resources. And I think that because public libraries have always supported change within communities, libraries will continue to play a role in addressing these challenges as well. And for this reason, I feel hopeful, although we know that there's a lot of uncertainty about how this is going to happen. I feel certain that we will be a part of addressing these challenges.